Welcome everyone to another Ask Joshino Anything, the episode where you can basically ask me any question and I'll do updates to my video as well, since this is the one that's sort of aimed at my subscribers and nobody else will really watch it. Anyway, I don't actually have a keyboard working at the moment. For some reason my firmware drivers stopped whilst the computer was... it rebooted for my antivirus software updating whilst the firmware was updated to the keyboard, and now my keyboard doesn't work. I tried to play a game of Dota, I don't know if you heard it, but it's a MOBA, and I played a ranked game without realising my keyboard was broken. Well, not broken, but not working at the moment. I'm sure I'll fix it later. So I didn't do very well, to be fair, and I couldn't even tell anybody why I was doing so badly. I felt quite bad, to be honest, and it was ranked, so I couldn't leave. Otherwise I could have got penalised. But yeah, I thought it's probably a good time. It's been 2 weeks since my last Ask Joshino, and it's a good video. So another thing I want to mention is that I'm sure it's really underviewed, but Ellie, with an exclamation mark, is somebody that does original Planetside 2 music videos. Well, not videos, but she does the music and then does a video with them, but anyway, it's beautiful, and if you haven't checked out her other songs before, I'd seriously say go check them out because they're awesome, and I know that they're going to be really underviewed, so this might be one way of getting people to go watch it, and I'm going to link it below and maybe here as well on the screen. And continuing the Joshino Snickets series of unfortunate events, I've apparently got a back problem. My disc is apparently trapping one of the nerves, and one of my whole legs went numb last Thursday and I wasn't able to walk on it very well. Well, it was like having a wooden leg for a few days, but it's getting better, and the doctor says that in a few weeks it should get better. But basically, since everything kicked off a few months ago, being made unemployed, blah blah blah, I've learnt a new phrase, or not learnt a new phrase, but I've really taken to heart the Lion King's Hakuna Matata, because Hakuna Matata, guys, you can't really say anything else to it. So, the questions, and my trusty notepad to go through them. Jono Phillips says, could you talk to Rel about having your own Planetside 2 decal, maybe? The thing is, with my decals, my current avatar and things on my channel, they're all designed by a professional designer, Mushin. He used to be a Planetside 2 player, and I paid him for that. I'm not sure how I stand with using those logos as something else, and because when you put it onto the Planetside 2 store you make money off it, I'm fairly sure. But I'd be happy to pop a Joshino decal on there of some kind. I suppose it's just proving to the DBC or Daybreak that you're actually going to make money from that decal going up, because what they say is they don't like putting up the outfit decals because hardly anyone buys them. And that's why they're so infrequent with them. Not that they don't like them, but that it's not their priority. So maybe if you want to see a Joshino decal in the game, put something in a poll here. There'll be a vote, yes or no, and then something silly, and you can vote there's something silly if you really want to. Jamie Herzig says, are you on Jobseekers Allowance, Joshino? Would have thought this would be enough to keep you going? If anyone doesn't know, Jobseekers Allowance is like a social security check, or basically the benefits system in the UK for people that are fit for work. And there's a couple of reasons why I'm not on at the moment. Partly because YouTube does make me some money. For example, this month I got about £100 from the ad revenue because my views have gone up so much. And also from the donations it's like £30–40. So I'm getting about £140 a month, and the Jobseekers is about £200 a month. And, well, actually Jobseekers Allowance has changed to something called Universal Credit, but you don't need to know that. But basically, doing the Jobseekers Allowance in the UK is hell, and if other people didn't know, I do suffer from depression, but it's not bad enough that I'd be disabled or unable to work, but going through the process of getting Jobseekers Allowance is something that would make a bad situation worse, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably one of the most demeaning and horrible experiences that you can go through it. I mean, it sounds stupid, and if you're working you're like, oh my god, that's so entitled, but when I was actually working, what I was doing was challenging a lot of the decisions made by the benefits service, and some of them are quite horrific, and the effect on mental health that it has is huge. And because I'm not in a position where I'm going to be destitute if I don't go on Jobseekers Allowance, and it would only be about £60 more a month, I just don't think it's worth it. And not just that it's worth it, I think that it'd really affect my health too. From the point I'm at now, that could only probably make me worse than I already am. But don't worry about that, because Hakuna Matata. Alia Kull says, your videos are good and you make a great narrator, in my opinion. I think you have the potential to grow a lot on YouTube. It's just that the Planetside 2 community is quite small. I feel it is holding you back a bit. I love your Planetside videos, but maybe something else as well. So, I do play a lot of games, and in all honesty I pace myself with Planetside 2 because I know if I play it every day and I'm always sat on it, then I'm going to burn out, like most people do. So it's not that I'm not playing other games. I suppose that it's just making something that my subscribers want to watch, and making something that isn't something that I'm 100% familiar with entertaining. Like at the moment I'm putting together a Battlefield 1 video which will go up tomorrow. But seeing as I wasn't invited to EA, I'm using the EA official footage I've gotten somehow. But it's quite hard to cover new games that way, and you know, at the end of the day I do want to try and reach a large audience as possible, but when a new game comes out there's a lot of competition there, and Planetside 2, I know that people will keep watching my videos and everyone enjoys that. But I do play a lot of other games, and I probably will start putting in videos into my channel as much as possible, but because I want them to be good and I want them to be something different, they'll always probably be infrequent because of that reason. And for the moment Planetside 2 is growing quite a lot. The other day I got 250 subscribers in one day, and there wasn't any sort of explanation from it, and because the analytics takes a few days to catch up, I don't know why. It was just out of nowhere. Maybe it was shared somewhere, or I don't know. That's not a normal day anyway, so it's going quite well so far, and we're almost at 13,000 subscribers now, and it's only going up. But I do love playing other games, and I play a lot of games. Oh yeah, that's another thing I wanted to mention, is that at the moment I can't buy new games. If I had money, I'd probably buy Doom and Total War Warhammer. Those two games have really piqued my interest at the moment. I was actually thinking of doing a funny version of, because I can't buy the Doom, doing Brutal Doom, which is free because you can get Doom for free now, and it's a mod. That is pretty epic really, and there's a mod for the mod to make it like the new Doom with all the new weapons and an upgrade to the graphics system. So I might do that as well very soon. Tactical Shrimp asks, what is Stellaris? Stellaris is a 4X game, so it's basically a massive strategy-based game on like a mass scale. It's in this one it's basically based on a galaxy, and in all of the planets there's different alien races, and those races all have different traits and abilities that you choose, and there's positive and negative ones. Like for the first race that I made, they were sort of like a reptilian race. They looked a bit like the Ithorians? Not Ithorians, that's Star Wars, but the ones on the medic on Mass Effect 2. I don't remember exactly what the race is called, but they look a bit like that. And they were scientists. They didn't have a democracy. They were basically ran by top-level scientists. It's almost like a technocracy, I suppose. They do still have elections, but only the top scientists could be elected. But there's loads of different societies, and it's almost interesting having them butt heads with each other, and the different ethics diverge. So you might have a warfaring but alien loving race that is going around conquering people, but then keeping the races all together in one big conglomerate, whereas there's other races that hate other aliens, but they're really pompous and greedy, and basically they just go around enslaving everybody. And then you have my race, the scientists that are all about science and progress, but at the same time don't populate very well. And actually, I don't know what the negative effects of materialism are, but I can't remember. But that's basically what it is, and the combat's a bit like Homeworld, but not really. It's more like Civilization, where you click on the enemy units and they sort of fight statically in the air. And it's just basically loads of spaceships and space battles over these planets, and you can siege the planets, or you can push your influence over by building lots of buildings, or building up your population on your planets. And there's lots of things with population movement and migration, things like that. It's quite deep. Panda the Green asks, why weren't there any dwarfs in the background, Joshino? And I said in the last video of this kind, basically there was a LARPing event going on behind, which is live action roleplay, and it was like a fantasy setting. And there wasn't anybody behind me, so there wasn't dwarves. But in there, because I'm on a farm and in the rural countryside, there could have been deer and things jumping around, but who knows? But I don't think there are any dwarves. I had a few looks over and saw the battles going on because it's like in the forest next to the house. Basically, they grow a load of Christmas trees to sell, and it looks like a fantasy forest. And they all have big battles in there, thousands of them. But I didn't actually see a dwarf. A lot of wizards and battle mages. No, I don't know. To be honest, some of the costumes were better than others. I'll put it that way. Ryan Thomas says, will you do a guide on the best base layout? I might do some tips on best base layouts in my next 25 quick tips, which I want to do quite soon. But I don't know whether I'll do a dedicated video to making bases, just because I haven't really made bases that much. I've been playing around the construction system, but I haven't constructed too much myself, so maybe somebody else can make that, and I'd wholeheartedly endorse them for making it. There's been some good people making some new videos, like Patty Fathead has been doing some good videos now on leadership, so we'll just have to see. Jameson E says, are you going to let your subs help you make your next Planet Araxis, which is a nature program, on the Ant vehicle? What I was thinking, I don't know 100% whether I'll do it choreographed or not. If I was to do it choreographed, which server would you be willing to come along to, any of the subscribers, and basically whether you would want to come along or not if I was to do it choreographed like my first one, which will be linked here maybe, or in the description below depending on how many annotations I have. So I can gauge interest, but I might just do it in live gameplay and do some commentary over the top, like the last one, which was Spawn Room Warriors. If you don't, yeah, so basically it's a nature documentary spoof, a bit like, I do a bit of a voice of David Attenborough, but I'm not really that good at it, but it's quite funny, and a nice video to make as well. It's quite fun. Thunderdash42 asks, are you a virgin? And no, I'm not. That was an easy question. Dragon Templar 4 says, what do you think of the current Liberator state? I know that a lot of people have called OP on Liberators, but as a pilot and a ground player, I don't actually have much problem with Liberators. With this new air patch coming through, Liberators are probably going to be even weaker, with lock-ons hurting Liberators and Galaxies more than hurting the ESFs. I don't know whether this will be overkill and Liberators will just become underpowered, but at the moment, even in that no HUD video, I was able to take on Liberators somewhat. It was partly because they were struggling with dealing with me, as well as that I was doing okay. But normally if you keep your range as an ESF, you can pin down a Liberator or at least scare it away. So I don't know. I don't know, but I don't fly live enough to have that experience. I haven't played it for quite a while. Stefan Brown says, you have a clear voice. You should do audio jobs like reading for audiobooks. Thanks a lot for that comment. I'm not sure how you get into it, to be honest, that's the thing. Maybe I should do a bit more research on voice acting and things like that. Over the time that I've been doing my videos, I've been training my voice, training my breathing. It's still not perfect, by no way is it perfect, but I do think that I've improved my voice this way, and whilst I've improved my voice, I'm not improving my singing. But yeah, it would be something that I'd think about, and maybe I should really put myself out there. Maybe there's some freelance stuff to do, but we'll just have to see. Ando Callas is a zin says, can you make a video on how to start a YouTube channel? I don't know whether I'd make a video on like the very basic how to start a YouTube channel, but I was thinking about making a video about sort of the background stuff in YouTube that most people don't talk about. So the statistics and the tags and things that are the boring parts of YouTube, but in my opinion, very important to getting your videos watched. And I've been thinking about making that video for quite a while. It's just getting around to it really and fitting it in with everything else I make and making it good. I think that's the crux of whenever I want to make a project. I don't want to just slap it together and throw it out there. These videos are probably my most relaxed, so this is where I'm at my weakest, I suppose, but people do enjoy these videos. Devil110 says, I said hi to you in Yell chat, but you ignored me. Yeah, sorry about that. I do normally respond to absolutely everything that comes through in game, and if I play a Miller, it's pretty much every few minutes I get a tell saying, hello, or something like that. And I do respond to them, and I sometimes die responding to them. And I don't mean to edit them into my videos, but you can sometimes see the responses or people messaging me pop up. On Emerald I don't get noticed as much, but it's changing a bit since I've got a bit more popular and people start noticing me and saying hi. But I think the part at the start, Joshino in America, does throw them off a little bit. But yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't say hi, but Yell chat's easy to miss because you're just concentrating on your fighting and you don't hear a ping, like with a tell. Raquel Vasquez asks, what do you use to record and edit your videos? So there's a few things. In-game footage I record with Shadowplay, which is NVIDIA's proprietary software, which has a good codec and also takes advantage of the CUDA cores on the NVIDIA card, the 970 that I've got. The real life footage like now is a Lumix G6 with a Leica H something or other. Basically it's a 1.4 focal length lens. It's basically a 50mm, but it's on a micro four thirds, so it's actually 25mm. But basically it captures what you have in your sense of vision without it being blurred at the edges. So it's not a wide camera, it's what they call like a standard lens or an alpha lens. That's what makes these videos look so good, and not so much these ones as the background's not as interesting, but on the videos in the garden, things like that. And then for audio wise, I've got behind me that Audio Technica 2035, which I've done a video on before. If you want to flick through to my setup below, it's on one of the playlists. For the audio I use Audacity, which is a great free software to edit with. Basically you can use noise removal, which is important when you have sounds like a computer whirring in the background, which even with my silencing on my actual case, there's a lot of soundproofing material inside it. You can still hear it on my microphone, which is a condenser mic, which captures a lot of the room around you. But these mics are a lot cheaper than the actual studio mics, which capture the voice just in the front area, which would eventually, if I ever got popular or enough, I'd probably buy one of those so that it'd be more professional. And for the video footage I use Sony Vegas, which is a paid software, and it's just generally quite a good video editing software suite. I did used to use Windows Movie Editor, but that was a long time ago. Ololololo. Can you have a group picture with all your subs on Miller? Sure. Maybe we should set a date as to when the group photo is. I don't know, do people really want a group photo? If people want a group photo, I'm very happy to have a group photo, but I suppose it's not actually me in the photo. Maybe I could Photoshop me in the photo with all the subscribers around it. If that's what people want, this is definitely going to be a poll here. Do you want a group photo of Miller? Maybe that's what you all want, and then we can have a group photo, which is fine. So that's the end of the video. Thank you everyone for sticking around and checking out my content and just generally being awesome. I've had more comments, more views than I really have ever. Apart from that massive video, you know, the why it's the time to play Planetside 2, which is at like 170,000 views right now. Pretty big stuff. But it's just generally been awesome. And thank you to everyone that's donated to me so far on Patreon and on PayPal. Because of the keyboard not working at the moment, I might not be able to edit in the name at the end, which I do like a scrolling banner of all the people that have been supporting me, and they gave me some PayPal money and it was a mil. But I might not be able to edit it in, so that's why I mentioned it. If you do want to help me out, then there's a Patreon link there, or there's a PayPal link in the bottom and you can just drop me a little donation. Anything helps, every little helps, so yeah. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, you know the jazz, and if you want your question answered next time, put it in the comment section below, and if there's anything you want to see, please put it down there as well, or anything you think about the channel. Use this as your chance to vent about anything I've been doing that you don't like in general. So, thank you for watching, everybody. Until next time, Joshino.